Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. That was kind of smooth.
That was
And and we're joined by my three co-hosts as always, starting off with my man Christian. Christian, what's up, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. That was pretty sick. That intro. I like that. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I guess I could be doing better. Tough results on Monday night, but yeah, looking forward to Friday and this weekend. We'll talk about it, but can't really dwell on Monday too much because we have a massive game on Friday now.
Yeah, facts. Also joined by Sam. Sam, how you doing, dude?
I mean, I'm cold. It's getting to the point of lockdown when my hair's getting quite long. So if I keep moving it, I do apologize. But yeah, it's desperate times. I might need to get like a home trim or something because especially here,
yeah,
and down here, it's a bit out of control. So yeah, but other than that, I'm good.
And talking about crazy hair, last but not least, joined by Nando with the fro.
Bro,
What's up, bro?
I was like, Sam, listen, you just have to embrace the chaos and just embrace what this ends up being, and just accept it, bro. Just run with it. But I'm doing fairly okay. It's kind of cold. I'm trying to forget that we just blew a chance at the Taça Portugal. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that and how big of a weekend this is for Sporting coming up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll get right to it. Let's start off with the Twitter questions as always. Let me go straight into the tab here. Bada beam, bada boom. All right. Starting off with the first, more of a comment from our boy Joaquim Sanch at Joaquim358780000. He says, há lance na primeira parte em que o jogador do Marítimo pôs a mão na bola e é dentro da área. É penalti. Não é a primeira vez que este árbitro nos gama. Ele é o do VAR, Luís Lampião Ferreira. Deixou de arbitrar, foi para o VAR para nos gamar. É denunciar. On a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments, guys, how good is my Portuguese? Anything less than an 8?
Sexy.
I'm not fucking with you. But yeah, I agreed with Joaquim there. Next comment comes in from our boy Mundo de Leão, who's reacting to the NBA, of course, saying Harden nos nets, caralho. It's going to be crazy. Next comment comes in from Dale XLP at TMS nessa shit. They also say in Portuguese, tendo em conta a derrota com o Marítimo devido às reduções maioritariamente.
It's not going to be an 8 anymore. It's not going to be an 8
I know, I fucked it up. I'm stuttering now. Acham que o Amorim devia mudar algo no sistema tático? Se sim, o quê? So basically, for those who don't speak Portuguese, he's asking if the rotations in the Taça de Portugal game let us down, or if we think the Amorim's tactics let us down. What we think. Sam, I'll pass that one off to you, dude. What do you think?
I mean, I think we're all going to have our take on it a little bit later, but I'm just going to say, just quickly, playing Plata at right wing back is fucking disgraceful. Do you know when you put a player in FIFA just because they're fast and you put them in right back? That's how it felt for me. But like I said, we'll touch on it more. But I think Amorim, that loss is 100% on Amorim now.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more later as well. Last comment comes in from our boy David Claudio at David Strife 35. Abraço amigos, abraço David. Cool, and that's really it. So let me remove that, and let's go straight into the. Let's start off with the Nacional game. First and foremost, I've played in pitches in grass a lot better than that. That was basically playing in mud, like it was the it was the 60s. But anyways, obviously this game started off with a novella just getting there as well. Filomena, the is it a hurricane? What was it exactly? Like a tempestade? Anyways,
tropical storm.
Like a tropical storm. Yeah. So that sort of hindered us from getting there kind of on time. We had to stop at an island first of Porto Santo. Then, of course, we ended up getting to Madeira, and we'll talk a bit about it. I just wanted to mention it because Amorim sort of put on notice that the league sort of tried to not force, but was trying to get them to Madeira as quickly as possible, as if, like, in his words, of course, as if he was the one flying the plane. So that was already a novella as it was. And then we got there on Thursday, couldn't play, game was canceled, played Friday, and of course we seen the pitch and the state it was and how muddy the guys left. But anyways, let's start with the 11. Starting with Adan in net, we had Fadal, Quach, and Luis Neto in the back line with Nuno Mendes and Pedro Porro. We had Pot, João Pelinha, and João Mario with Sporar and Nuno Santos up top. Christian, I'll pass it off to you first, dude. What were your thoughts on this game?
I mean, considering all the factors, this ended up being a pretty pleasing game to watch. We dominated them. They really didn't create too many chances. We were just basically peppering the net. Any moment on this field could really, change the game completely. They didn't.
Is that just me, or is Christian?
No, he's frozen for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's me. I can tell that I'm freezing because my thing is spinning on the screen.
Okay, you're back now, though. So if you want to go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only other thing I have to add is, it's the justified result. It should have been more. And the only thing that was sketchy about it was by our own doing, by not finishing more of our chances. I mean, this game could have really been put away within 30 minutes if they wanted it to be, or on another day. But yeah, I mean, the individual performances, I guess, that really stood out to me. I thought that it was a good pot game. He was coming off a string of kind of ghosting performances, so I thought it was a good pot game, good Pauline game. The center backs were solid. Nuno Santos, another good game. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have many complaints. It was good to see Javan come in and may or may not have gotten hurt. Who knows? But he did score a goal with his 5 minutes, so that was good to see because he hasn't played in at least a month.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Nando, I'll pass it off to you next, dude. What were your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, I think Christian just kind of goes over it well there. I think we all were a little concerned, a little worried about the weather going into the game after the fact, listening to Ruben Amorim's comments about how the league kind of forced them or pressured them into making sure they played that game. That was a prototypical when Sporting's at their best, that whole Raça de Leão, that whole ability to find a way to win kind of at all costs, despite the conditions of the pitch. We found a way to win. We played well too, but it looked like the team was focused on the one result that we needed, which was a win. Win at all costs, win for the team, win for the fans, and we did that. There's not much more to say. I like the way they played overall, but more importantly, the fact that we were able to go there in those conditions a day after the game was delayed. Right? It was supposed to be on a Thursday and ended up being on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and we got the win, and that's all that matters. And that kind of sets the stage for Benfica and Porto to kind of have to always be on their A game because they kind of hope, or I'm sure they're expecting us to start dropping some points here and there. But from my perspective, played well, got to win in a tough island, tough pitch. It's very hard to always play in the islands. So really nothing negative to say about how Sporting played overall.
Agreed. And Sam, what were your thoughts, dude?
Yeah, it's a game that there wasn't really much highlights apart from the pitch. But I just want to bring up something that sort of carries on from last episode, if you were watching, when me and Chris were talking about Rolando and all these old players for Braga. Ruben Michael, where the hell has he been? He's just come out of nowhere. He's like another old player to come. Where are these old players coming from? It's he got booked in the yellow card with the yellow card in the 11th minute. So true to form, but again, it wasn't one that had a lot of highlights. The pitch was awful. It literally felt like I was watching a Sunday league game. I feel like it suited the defenders, especially Luis Neto. I thought he had an amazing game. His long balls, which he usually does, were very suited to this game. Like Chris said, I was happy Jovan got his goal, and same with Pedro Gonçalves. I know he didn't score, but got the assist. The one thing I liked about this game was seeing the pictures in the white shirt where it's full of mud, and like Coates put on Instagram, like the line with the muddy face, and like João Pauline. I think I've mentioned it before, but I like the unity of this group is just tremendous, and it is something that is great to see. But in terms of the game in general, there's not a lot to talk about. But it needed to be done. A good win, and I'm apart from maybe Jovan, I'm glad nobody got like seriously injured. So that's it from me.
Yeah, no, agreed. I can't really add much else to it. Honestly, I'm just pleasantly surprised that we were able to play fairly well given the conditions. I was actually a little surprised that we were going to more like playing it on the pitch, like playing it on the floor rather than like just long balling it to Tiago Tomás or to Sporado all game long. Yeah, though. Sorry,
I
I'm
guess maybe
little,
that. I think that it may. I guess maybe the delay, like. It's crazy that the plane incident and like that didn't affect the Nacional game more, because clearly it didn't affect us at all. We played great, but the game getting pushed a day back gave us even less rest time for the Maritimo game, which he did rotate a lot of players, to be fair, but like that also created different problems. So it's just like this whole trip was tough, and it wasn't normal. So as a result of that, like things kind of fell into place, and we got one result and didn't get the other.
Yeah, facts. Listen, I don't have anything else to add on this game. Like we said, it was nice to see Jovan get the goal. We of course seen substitutions of Tiago Tomás and Matheus Nunes, who I think actually Matheus Nunes, I kind of only want to mention when he came in, I actually liked him in the midfield. It made us a bit more solid to see out the 3 points. Yeah. Aside from that, guys, I'll ask just man of the match for this game. You guys have one?
I'm gonna give it to Neto for me.
Neto, huge shout. I liked it though. I like it. How about you guys?
I personally don't have a man of the match, man. I honestly think that just the fact that team was able to play, and like Sam mentioned earlier, the iconic muddy jerseys and Coates post. I think it was Coates who posted the muddy lion and everything like that. That to me showed that this team is following one another and is behind one another. And I think that's clutch. That's more important than anything else, because I think that game was more so a team win than any individual standout performance. Although Luis Neto did play really well as well.
Yeah, agree. I actually agree with that there. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think you can make a case for multiple guys, because there's like 5 that I thought that kind of stood out. And yeah, I mean, you could even make a case for a guy like Coates, like just based off of like leadership or stuff like that. But I'm actually going to go with João Mario because I thought he had a very good game, and I've been hard on him recently. So that is my way of giving him a what's up head nod.
Yeah, nothing else really to say aside from if anybody's seen my tweet, sometimes it's fun to play in the mud, right, guys?
That was hilarious. I've got to give you a prop. That was amazing.
What about that scene from that goalie of Nacional? Or I'm not.
Nacional. Yeah, it was. I mean, even fucking there was a slide tackle where João Pauline comes in and tackles the guy hard. But literally, you just see like his shirt, I guess, comes up, and you just see mud all over that like his back. You know, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy pitch to play on. I'm surprised that game even went on. But anyways, let's go on to the more pressing matter. We lost 2-0 to Maritimo in the Taça Portugal. That sees us out of the competition. Starting 11 was as followed. Some rotation, not a lot though. We had Luis Maximiano coming in net. We had Borja, Fidal, and Luis Neto in the back line. We had Nuno Mendes and Gonçalo Plata as wingbacks. Pauline and Mateus Nunes in the midfield with Nuno Santos, Tiago Tomás, and Tabata up top. Sam, I'll start this one off with you, dude. What were your thoughts on yesterday or 2 days ago game?
Well, for me, I'm just going to say this. If you showed someone who isn't a Sporting fan or even like a fan of the Liga NOS and you show them the first half, you just assume that Sporting's going to win. We were dominating. We had so many chances. Thiago Tomás at the bar. We were just attacking. And at the start, I was like, this is good football. We're just not finishing. And then I don't know what happened. In the second half, it just went all downhill. I wasn't really impressed with anyone in that team. I couldn't really see any sort of like fight or determination from any of the players. And we touched on it earlier, but the lineup was just looking at it was just questionable. You've got Borja at centre back instead of someone like Ignacio or Quaresma, who may be experienced, but at least they're in the actual position. Borja's a left back, not a centre back, and I think it showed that he's not a centre back in that game. Same with Plata, he's a right winger, not a right wing back. And I tweeted this. I'm not sure if anyone saw it, but I was like, it's going to be the stubbornness that could fuck up our title chances, because we have a perfectly good right back. He's not Pedro Porro. He's not even half Pedro Porro, but Ristovski's there. He's on the bench rotting. Then what's the point of just leaving him there? We've got even Camacho, you could say, he played right wing back for Liverpool a few times. That would have made more sense than Plata, because at least he's played there before. But it's just, I would expect the change of the team for someone like a second division team or a third division team. But for Maritimo, who beat Porto this year, let's not forget, they are a team to be respected, and it definitely backfired on us. And it had to be that Rodrigo Pino to score as well, the future Lampião. The defending was comical on their goal. Luis Neto and Fadal both just standing there, and it's just like a rookie mistakes. But like I said, we had so many chances. Like I said, Thiago Tomás hit the bar, and Sporar missed literally, it was probably about that far from the goal, missed it. And I just really want Paulinho, man. Honestly, it's just seeing those two on their day, they're great, but sometimes you just wonder how they're strikers, because they just have so many like brain dead moments. It's just unforgettable. So hopefully that spurs us on to get an actual striker in. I know we've been linked with a striker from Mexico, like Santiago, is it Munez, like from the Goal films? But,
Yeah.
If it's anything as good as that, then I'll take it. But it's just like I said, that loss is on Amorim. He rotated the team for, I know there was a reason, but that amount of rotations in the players he picked is just upsetting. And if I was someone like Ignacio, Quaresma, Braganza, just a few of those, to name a few, who just was sat on the bench while people took your spot, like didn't really deserve it, I'd be fuming, and I'm going to be honest, I'd probably want to be loaned out somewhere, because you're not being respected. Like I said, Quaresma and Ignacio, two centre backs from the start of their career, is overlooked for Christian Borja, who's not even a good left back at times. But I just want to know what's happened to Quaresma. He was one of our best centre backs last year. Obviously, with the Mathieu injury, definitely fucked us over a bit. But he was incredible. We haven't seen much of Ignacio, but I would have really loved him to start. He needs minutes, and like they're not going to improve without minutes. They're not just going to improve watching or sitting or rotting on reserves. But for me, I'm just going to reiterate my last point, is that Amorim, you and Ristovski, put your differences aside. If Porro gets injured, I'm not having Plata at right back again, especially against like a Benfica or a Porto. He will get skinned. He got skinned so many times against those Maritimo players, and it's just shocking. So hopefully he stops being stubborn, and we get Ristovski back, or even like another right back in the transfer window.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with you there as well. How about you, Nando? What were your thoughts on this game?
I'm going to make my thoughts pretty straightforward and clear from the beginning, man. I think Sam just did a really good job of mentioning a couple players there. Quaresma, we've talked about it leading up to this point of the season or the year. Ristovski just sitting there riding, like he said, all great valid points. But this game, in my opinion, is 110% on Ruben Amorim. There is moments in the game, mostly first half, where Sporting has opportunities to score and win. If they had scored, probably wouldn't be saying that Ruben Amorim we would probably be praising different things. We'd probably be saying that Ruben Amorim was a genius, that he, properly changed up the team. But I think at the end of the day, in a knockout competition as important as the Taça Portugal, this isn't the Taça da Liga. This is a competition that Sporting has won many, many times. You cannot risk bringing in players that are less utilized in an away game in an island where we just played and hope that everything just comes to fruition and works well. Extremely, extremely frustrating seeing players out of place. I think we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, if we had even gone live, but it's like taking players that we think are just because they're fast are just going to be doing well in a position. Gonçalo Plata playing out of position. I just don't know what Ruben Amorim was thinking. I don't know if he was just hoping that because the team is in this whole all-for-one mindset that they would just come in and everything would just work out well. But it's a knockout game. And to me, the fact that I think it took until maybe the 70th minute, roughly, for us to make our first substitution was a little too late. What minute was it? I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I think it was like 70 something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that took too long. Sporting needed the João Marius and the players in there that have been starting that could easily take over the game if need be. I just don't know. I don't know what his thought process was, honestly. I mean, I'm thinking he just, all right, the league, we're in first place. We need to give players rest. But Sporting isn't in other competitions other than the Taça da Liga. You know what I mean? Like, Sporting is now in a position where, and we'll talk about this again in a little bit, but we're in a position where we're in the pole position, right? We are leading as of January 13th. We're in first place of the league. We need, in my opinion, to continue to give the players that have been playing and the players that have been succeeding all the reps they can get. It's not time now. We have the Taça da Liga to do that. I would be 100% okay with Ruben Amorim switching up the team the way that he did, or even making more radical moves against Porto for the Taça da Liga, which I know all of us here could care less about, than a Taça Portugal game against Maritimo. So as much as I've been hesitant to praise him, and then lately I have been, the loss is 100% on Ruben Amorim. And I think we'd all going to agree with that to an extent here. And it was very frustrating for us to go out that way, because now we're leading into a weekend where we have a Clásico at hand, where we need to maintain the same points distance so that we can gain points on somebody. And I'm a little worried of the mentality of the team going forward, coming off from an elimination. That's now my concern. We're gone, we're eliminated, but how are we going to recover? How are we going to play against Rio Ave and so forth and so on? So disappointing on Ruben Amorim, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I also agree. Christian, how about you? Last but not least. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am. I definitely think that we can agree that Ruben Amorim is definitely partially at fault. I mean, he did rotate the team somewhat, but I mean, at the end of the day, like Sam mentioned, the players that made mistakes on the first goals, like Fidal and Neto, those are two players that aren't rotated. It's just not marking guys on corners, not following after the initial header. It's just I mean, is that rotated team the reason for that? I don't know. I think that we definitely did enough to put the game away, and if we win this game, no one even really bats an eye too much about it. And we definitely could have done enough to win the game. Pinho was obviously a threat up top for them, and he did create some chances for them. And the second half was obviously much higher velocity for them, and they created better chances than we did in the second half. Outside of the one that I was literally in the goal. But I still think that we could have won this game as is. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I guess it sucks to lose out on the Taça Portugal. It's a competition that we've historically done pretty well in recently. At least as far as reaching the final, won it a couple times in the last 4 years. So I guess it sucks, but I mean, at the same time, we are usually we're still mathematically in the hunt for the league, but we're 7 points back, and we're praying for something to happen. So I guess that we still, as long as you have the league, that we can all keep dreaming. And yeah, I mean, whether or not they try in the Taça da Liga, I don't really think matters that much. It's 2 games extra, best case scenario, or maybe it's just 1. And I don't think that changes anything one way or the other. Porto and Benfica are still going to have European games. They're still going to have the same task of games, the task of Liga games as us, and they're going to have quarter, 2 semis, and a final, maybe at most 4 more games for Taça de Portugal. So it's like between the European games, or do we think Porto or Benfica going deep in Europe? Like, probably not. Like, what, maybe 2 more games, 4 best case scenario. Like, I mean, yes, there definitely is some extra games there for the other teams, but it's not like our advantage is like the bulk of those group stage, all that shit, like that's already done with. And they survived. They're only 4 points back. So I think we have the advantage. It's only on us. It's up to us in the league games. And I'm hoping, to be honest, that there's a winner in the Clásico this weekend, because a win with us paired with a win of one of the 2 other teams really puts the team that loses the Clásico in that poor position, because they're going to be 7 points back, and that is not ideal. So to have 1 at 4 and 1 at 7, that feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, the Maritimo game, just delete and onward and upwards with the Rio Ave game, and keeping that, because to me and all of us, that's most important.
Facts. I think it was Matt Paiva that said it. If it's not, I apologize to whoever did say it. I think it was Matt. He said he's seen enough Taça de Portugal, and we've won enough Taça de Portugals, especially in the last few years, like you mentioned, Chris, that I don't mind getting out of it if it means that we can actually like give it a real go in terms of winning the league. I agree with that sentiment. Just a few things, because I wanted to add on to what Paul Ponte was saying about Bragança. I like Mateus Nunes. I'm not saying I don't, but this game really needed a Bragança in the midfield, whether it was Bragança with Palhinha and then subbing off Palhinha for Mateus Nunes maybe later on. I think that would have been a lot better than having both of them in the midfield. Though again, I agree. I think we did do enough to win this game. Like we mentioned, Tiago Tomás hitting the bar in the first minute, or not the first minute, but in the first half. Sporar kind of pulling a Brian Ruiz. It's a little. I can at least accept this loss for what it is in terms of leaving the Taça de Portugal, knowing that we could have deserved more, or we should have deserved more. Had it been a game where we looked tired, we looked bad, had it been a game where we didn't deserve anything from it whatsoever, or we're over here saying how bad of a performance these players put on, and maybe more rotation or less rotation was needed, I think that would have been more cause for concern, especially going into this big weekend. Also, I just kind of want to quickly add, because I totally forgot to mention it at the on the Maritimo game, was that Fidal won't be at Rio Ave because of accumulations of yellows, but we'll at least still have Nuno Santos, who's still on 4 yellows, Palhinha, who's still on 4 yellows, and Coates, who's still on 4 yellows. So that's at least. But anyways, that's for later on.
Neto definitely kind of definitely could have got a yellow in the Nacional game. Yeah, I feel like that motherfucker's on borrowed time with the yellow, and so is Palhinha. He's gonna come in late in one of his tackles in the midfield. Any guy who has fucking 19, 20, 30 defensive actions a game is eventually gonna foul someone. And
start strategically, maybe having them take that
yellows. Yeah, but then that's dangerous though too, because after Rio Ave it's Boa Vista. If we take a yellow against Boa Vista and drop points, it's like the lead up to Benfica is all for nothing. But then I agree. If we play Boa Vista and Nuno Santos and Palhinha, for example, get a yellow, we're fucked, because those two are. Nuno Santos, in terms of going forward, is one of our most important players. Palhinha, in terms of a transition, also one of the most important player, not one of the most. So,
but with that as well, Boavista, they beat Benfica, was it 2 or 3-0? So they need to be respected.
I don't know how that happened.
Yes, but I think that's their only W. Even now, that's their only dub, or their second dub of the season. They're in poor form.
If they get Benfica and Sporting as their only 2 wins,
they can do it. They have the squad to do it. Their squad is pretty nasty on paper. But yeah, that was really the only thing I wanted to say was.
Good point. Neto is going to definitely avoid suspension because he's not going to play because he has COVID. So Neto will not be suspended from the next game.
That is true. That is true. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we go into certain plays, because I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it, is that Pauline is I'm saying it now. He's within the next 4 to 5 games, he's scoring a screamer from outside the box.
Yeah.
He was unlucky against maybe I'm confusing it with Nacional now, but I'm pretty sure it was the Maritimo game where he had a long shot that just missed the net. They're begging for it. What was that, Chris? Oh, I think you're right.
I think he said that was the National game, and I was going to say that.
I think it was Nacional. I think it was.
The goalie didn't get back in the goal quick enough, and he kind of just ripped it. If that was on target, it was in. Like the goalie was not getting there.
Was that Nacional or Maritimo?
That was definitely Nacional.
Nacional. Okay, yeah, I'm getting it confused. But anyways, that's the prediction here. I won't even say 5. I feel like that's too much of a leeway. The next 3 games, he's scoring a screamer from outside the box. You heard it here first.
Please.
Yo, and if this happens, we're clipping this up with the V Sports thing and throwing that on Twitter, bro. But yeah, I agree with everything there. First thing, I was trying to find it online. I can't see any pictures or videos of it. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now, though. The potential penalty call for, I believe it was Natu for getting the ball in the box or getting the ball to his hand in the box. What do you guys think? His hand was kind of near his thigh. Did it hit his arm? Did it hit his thigh? Did it hit his stomach? Is even if it does hit his arm, is he close to his body where we can let that go? What were your guys' opinions on that? And do you think Maritimo should have seen a penalty for that? Sam, I'll pass it to you first. I'm not sure if you're familiar though.
You cut out there, so I have no idea what was said.
So I heard you, Danny.
Okay, Christian, take it away.
Yeah. So honestly, I watched this play like 30 times, pausing it, like slowing it down to like 0.8 speed, 0.3 speed, and like pausing it, trying to get the exact moment where it hits his arm. The problem with this play is not whether or not it hits his arm; it's whether or not he's actually in the box when it hits his arm, because. Can't tell it. To me, that it's not a PK. You lean no on that. You see the replay. The replay doesn't make it more conclusive. If anything, it makes it more inconclusive. So, based on those factors, no PK.
Agreed. How about you guys?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. But it's one of those that it would likely have been given. Like if it, like I would probably see that given in another game. It's like what Con said a few podcasts ago, that like referees are just for different games they'll just call different calls for no absolute reason. But if it was given, whether or not it was a penalty or a free kick, I agree with Chris. It was sort of on like the edge. I mean, I wouldn't have been too annoyed because it definitely looked like that at first, but you know, it wasn't given, and at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because you still got smacked. So.
Yeah, facts. How about you, Nando? I'm actually going to throw the picture on screen right now. Just found it.
I think Nando said that he's gone to check on his dog. If you on the group chat, I just had a look.
My bad. Didn't see that, so never mind. But yeah, there we see there. Can I zoom this in a bit? There you go.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It looks like the ball's out of the box. Like that video. That's not conclusive enough.
Yeah, it's not clear enough. I agree. I'm not gonna lie.
Plus, it's not in an unnatural position either. On top of it all, you know, it's not like it's sticking out, and we're talking about this. It's literally against his body, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I'm not gonna lie. I entered this thinking that they were hard done by because they could have got a penalty. Seeing that as, I believe this is Netu. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong.
It is Netu.
So the thing is, I think it's hard done by. His foot's in the box. You can make a case that he's in the box or the handball happens in the box. I'm definitely not mad that I'm definitely content that this wasn't called because, like you said, it is inconclusive. It's not exactly 100% sure on that, but yeah. Just wanted your opinions on that. I wouldn't be mad if they gave this a penalty at the end of the day. I've seen a lot of bullshit in this league though at the same time. So, let's see what else was there. There was the goal, of course. I was going to ask you guys who you thought was more at fault for that. But I think we mentioned it. I think it's definitely Fidal and Neto. But more, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's more so Fidal. I think the pass that Neto gets sort of leads us to being like countered on. But to be honest, Padinha sort of slips just before getting the ball. So, who knows? I think to me, it's more Fidal just sort of lets Pingu go like easily. So I'd give that, 70-30 in terms of blame to Fidal.
I can't tell if he gets turned inside out or if he's just so flat-footed that like the slightest change of direction just left him in the dust. Unclear if he gets skinned or it's just horrible defending.
Yeah, agreed. I'm gonna honestly, I'm gonna lean more towards he got skinned because like Pingu was out of there in a minute. Like Fidal was all the way back there, and Pingu's already scoring a goal, which hurts, bro. Like, the guy just got bought from Benfica this week, and he may potentially end up going there by the end of January, anyways, if rumors are to be believed. Which also brings me to another rumor I wanted to ask you guys about, but we'll ask later. Yeah, hard done by. The third goal or the second goal, bullshit. These guys are fucking asleep in the corner. No excuse for that. Nothing else really about this game. Would you guys be Nando? I'll pass this one more off to you because you were more vocal about being disappointed about this loss, which I agree with your sentiments. Would you take it that now at least we have the only thing we have to focus on is the league title, or do you think the squad deserved or even us fans deserved more by us at least making it past the fucking, what is this, the fourth round?
I think the latter. I think the fans
round of 16. I think
round of 16.
You mentioned maybe 5-10 minutes ago. I think it was Piva or something that tweeted that because of the loss, we can now focus on the league. I hate that mentality. That's like the default mentality. Like, no shit, we have to focus on the league, right? We have nothing else to fucking play for. We can keep settling for like, well, as long as we make the Champions League and start recouping some of this Ruben Amorim money, I think we'd all say at the beginning of the season, we weren't expecting to win the league. We were hoping to fight for a Champions League berth. And then these things, the Taça de Portugal coupled in with maybe a stupid little Taça de Liga and a Champions League, that's our season. That's what we're like, okay, let's build on that. The fact that we don't have the Taça de Portugal to play for, the fact that we were knocked out of Europe very, very early in the year, Taça de Liga I could give shits about. And then, we are in first place. Like to me now, this becomes very much I don't want to say win or bust because it's still only January 13th, but Chris made a very, very valid points about how we're going to be feeling after this week's games, right? Are we going to be 7-up on one? Are we going to be 4-up on another? Are we going to be, 6-up on both? Or are we going to completely blow our shit and maybe lose to Rio Ave or us lose points? And then now the pressure is even further on us to keep going. That's my concern. I think the loss to the Taça Portugal loss just eliminates a silver lining for us for the year. It immediately takes away an opportunity to have something come of this year if the league isn't what happens. And, of course, the league is the number one priority, and all of us here will say this. I'll take the damn championship every single year, Campeonato, every year forever, versus any damn combination of Taça Portugal, Taça de Liga ever. But that goes what I was saying. We all feel that way. Or at least I think we all feel that way. So that's my concern. It's just it puts pressure, I think, on the players. It puts pressures. It makes fans back to being anxious about how we're going to be and how we're going to be performing and what the end result is at the end of the year. Just because we didn't even make it, like Chris said, out of this round. And Portistas and Benfiquistas still have that to fight for. You know what I mean? Porto's still in Europe. And then so forth and so on. So that's my concern.
Yeah, no, I 1,000% agree with that. 1,000% agree with that. Though, as you mentioned, I just seen on Twitter real quick, Bayern Munich was actually kicked out of the German Cup, the DFB Pokal from Kyle from penalties from the team in the second division, basically in Germany. So I mean, it happens, right? Giants do fall, and if anything, it's one step better than last season, losing to what's their name, Alverca.
But Bayern Munich also wins the damn league every fucking year, so
yeah, that is true as well. I just wanted to.
They're not over here fiending like we are. Like we're ravaging dogs, bro. We're like,
hungry.
Throw us a bone.
That's a fact. Yeah. All right. I guess there's nothing else more to mention about this game. I'll ask you guys man of the match if you have a man of the match. I'm gonna be honest. My man of the match goes to Maritimo and now Benfica's Rodrigo Pinho, who I've been talking shit about a lot on Twitter, especially. I've been calling him the next Ruben Ribeiro, so I hope that stands true. But a goal and an assist against Sporting. I know he has these Lampiões with the biggest boner in the world, but I don't know how he'll play when it's not counter-attacking football anymore. You know, we'll see when that happens and when that comes there. But I'm gonna give my man of the match to him. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. We have a friend of the podcast, Kevin, who is a sort of half and half Sporting Maritimo fan. He's been banging on about Pinho for years, for about a year on Twitter now. But like you said, is if he's going to do the same at Benfica, who knows? But in that game, he was fantastic, and he's been fantastic this season. There's no doubt about it. So
yeah,
he's my man of the match too.
Yeah. How about you two?
Yeah, I agree with you. Easy choice. Safe.
Mm-hmm. I think Christian's lagging a bit. Oh,
can you guys hear me? I want to get this take out there in the ether without any lag. He's about to be Benfica.
Fuck. The internet doesn't want you to say it, bro.
The suspense is killing me.
Did you guys not hear it at all?
No, bro. You cut out.
Benfica.
We heard you get hype and then
Go.
Rodrigo Pinho is about to be Benfica's Luis Felipe.
Jeez. I agree. I just wanted to quickly end it off with this picture.
That's a nice picture. Look at that shit.
That was given a foul. That was given
a foul, exactly. And for everybody talking shit, this is how I'm diving into your girl's pussy, bro. Just like this. I'm kidding.
The form is impeccable on that.
Fuck, bro. Zidane, bro. Zidane. Fuck that guy. All right, let's quickly go into quick news and rumors and transfers. We'll start off with the news. Of three elements of our backroom staff, including the legend, the man, the myth, the legend that is Pauline, tested positive for COVID-19. The other two, I'm actually forgetting their name. My bad, guys. And then, of course, 3 players got tested for COVID-19. Luis Neto, Nuno Mendes, and Sporar. 3 important players for us. And then, of course, from now until Friday, we'll be well, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll be anxious to see if there's any more cases, because there seems to be an outbreak at right now. Again, towards like the most important part of like our season, probably, which is upsetting, but it's currently the world we're living in. Just wanted to, I don't know, if you guys have any thoughts on this. I mean, nothing really more to say about that, but what do you think?
It's not going to be the last up until Friday. There's going to be a few more. I think it was Chris that said it in the group chat. It's like they were all on a plane together, and that's like obviously the recycled air and everything. So I doubt it's going to be like as big as the first outbreak, maybe, but it's definitely going to be a few more, especially in terms of like technical staff and things like that. But yeah, unfortunately, it's probably going to be the first of quite a few.
Yeah, and I wonder how the league, if there is any more, because I think 3 players, whether they're star players or not, I think 3 players is whatever. You play it regardless. I think if there's more of an outbreak, I'll be interested to see on how the league takes it. I mean, of course, we had our first game of the season was delayed from against Gil Vicente, right? And if we look at, like, I know it's not Liga NOS, but if we look at the NBA has been canceling games left, right, and center just because, more than 5 players or 4 or 5 players are infected with it. So it'll be interesting to see if even on Friday we'll play the game. Even in England, for example, there's been a huge thing about it. I know Mourinho's been sort of kind of complaining about getting games called off.
I think Benfica had 4 cases and they played, didn't they? I can't remember exactly who it was, but I think it was either 4 or 5. So I think it's probably like 5 or above. They might decide to postpone.
It's worth noting about Gil Vicente. They also had like 7 cases. So it was.
That's
I don't
true,
like
too.
if it was only Sporting, it might have been. They might not have delayed that game, but since it was both teams, I think was that the only game that they've delayed. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, that explains it. So I mean, basically, like Danny said, literally not having the game on Friday is gonna happen. I feel like.
I think so too.
Which would mean they have like 14 cases or something, which is possible because they were all literally just in an airplane together. So
literally, yeah, exactly. And listen, like fucking, I don't believe Pauline in the fucking. I don't know the guy, but I don't believe him in the dressing room. He's wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Not even that the mask makes a difference, but
he every time we come out to play, he literally shakes hands with everybody.
Player. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm not saying he's at fault, obviously, but it's just the way it is. But obviously
he's in the bubble. They all consider themselves in their own bubble, but one person gets it in the bubble, they can spread it around pretty easily.
Yeah. As Abdallah's saying, like Nuno Mendes to him is the only problem. Sorry, what was that, Chris?
No, it's just like, I mean, the shit that they were doing, right? They've been like, they sat on the runway for 5 hours. Like, I mean, they've been in planes for like 10 hours over the past 4 days. Like, it's such an enclosed space. Like, they've been in the locker room, they've been in the hotel, like, and they've all been together. So who knows when it got? Yeah, who knows when it got picked up? But they've been all together for so long. So yeah, I saw a comment earlier that said like it'll probably be more than 3. Like, yeah, I think they're probably right. Because like I remember literally yesterday the news was there's no positives. Now today it's 3. It's because the incubation period, right? They weren't like it was like there yet, but it wasn't enough to like show up on a test. But then later it shows up. So let's see how many more there are in the next couple of days. Because yeah, I fear that there's definitely more.
Yeah.
And like, did they have practice today? Like, just spread it around today more? Like, I don't know. I feel like the NFL and the American teams cancel the practices, like, and stuff, shut down the facility. Yeah. They're seemingly more on top of that than the Portuguese teams are. At least it appears from the outside.
Yeah, for sure. And you're 100% right on that too. Like, again, we're flies on the wall, right? We have no idea what exactly is going on. A quick question, Nando, I'll ask you about it. Nuno Mendes, is that the only problem in terms of absence? Because, I mean, I've been a big Tiago Tomás fan. I'll continue to be a big Tiago Tomás fan. He was unlucky on Monday. But, Sporada has been a big player coming off the bench, especially for us. Luis Neto, whether we want to admit it or not, has been a big player for us in the back line. I mean, it's against Rio Ave. It might be one of the biggest games of our season. Do you think Nuno Mendes is the only problem, or do you agree that the other?
You just made valid points for the other guys. I mean, we've all claimed here that we need another striker. We need an actual solidified performer up top. The fact that we're going to be losing one of the guys who are supposed to be scoring goals, to me, is more important than losing Nuno Mendes, because we've had issues getting goals from the guys that are supposed to score goals. That continues to be an issue, and that again was on display against Maritimo, right? First half, we could have scored goals, didn't score goals. Second half, we couldn't even create chances to score goals. And then we see the likes of Slimani and so forth, signing these 1.5-year deals, and Sporting is over here, twiddling thumbs. To me, Tiago Tomás missing a game is way more important than Nuno Mendes right now, given the fact that we're not producing on the side of the pitch that we need to be producing from those players.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, I'll also get on to the 20 layoffs. Let me just quickly add, I wanted to mention it on the Maritimo game. I'm a little tired from work, guys. the 2-0 loss to Maritimo was the first time since last season against Vitória de Setúbal that Sporting failed to score a goal, which I think has to be mentioned as well, because it's a pretty incredible feat. I can't remember exactly when the date was that we played Vitória de Setúbal, but who've since been relegated. August.
I'm gonna say.
Boom.
Yeah.
So
And
not bad.
Since October. First loss since
domestic
October.
competition.
Yeah,
like
that last game feels like it was like a year ago, right? So it's been a long time since we've tasted the sour taste of defeat.
Though that Famalicão game, to me, still
that
smells
feels
like
an L. That felt like
that's
an
why.
L,
that's why it doesn't feel that great. But anyways, let's go on to the 20 people that were laid off at Sporting. I'm not sure if you guys know exactly the details in terms of like what department or whatnot. But what do you all make
I think
of it?
most of them.
Oh yeah.
I think most come from SAD. Yeah, most I think come from SAD, and it's in total the 20 people laid off are going to save €1 million a year. And I didn't really read it too much of it about the specifics of like the people. I know some of the people have been at Sporting for a while, so I mean anyone who's been there for like 10, 15, 20 years who's getting laid off, it's always like usually like 99% of the time it's a disgrace. So yeah, I mean we're saving €1 million, like laying off 20 people. I mean I don't know how many people Sporting employs. I'm presuming like a couple hundred. So I mean 20 is that's how many, and especially like how many people do they employ for like administrative positions, like 100, right? 140, like 20, that's like it could be as high as like 20% of the staff, right? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean I'm gonna obviously always side with workers, so $1 million really does seem like a drop in the bucket when you consider the values that have been just literally lit on fire over the past several years. Like $1 million is just a fraction of even that money that was lit on fire. So I find it hard to believe that the team is in that dire financial strait.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to add anything onto that before going into the I think the biggest topic at hand. Let me just tweet that out. Oh fuck, wrong account that I tweeted it out on.
It's like Chris said. In January, I believe 2018 or 2019, we bought Thiago Ilori for £2.1 million. I don't know how much that adds up in euros. I'm not very good with the currency exchange or whatever. But like, we basically made 50% of Ilori by getting rid of those workers. And I know, obviously, if you, I believe it's in football players' contracts, if you rescind, you have to give them money. So obviously, I'm not saying rescind, but it's just like to echo what Chris said. Like, we've literally wasted money on players like Ilori, Dumbia, to name a few. It's just, and it's
Camacho.
I saw an article, right? It's $7 million a year in the contracts of the players that don't play. Only the players that don't play.
But it's like people who like need money to put like food on their table and like to support their families are the ones that are suffering. And I know obviously there probably wasn't a lot they could do about it, but it's just like when you look at this, it's another thing that is a black mark on Veranda's administration and his time here. It's just I genuinely feel, because I was made redundant during this pandemic. I was lucky enough to find another job, but it's just I sympathise with them, and hopefully they get there soon. So it's just a shame, really.
I also wanted to quickly add as well, while we're talking about this, in terms of Varandas' disinvestment towards the modalidades as well. I was listening to a recent interview that Bruno Carvalho did that I actually agree with. That, of course, for those who don't know, January 29th, he'll be on. But anyways, he was mentioning how like we let go of Nelson Évora, for example, and Bruno Carvalho even mentioned his salary was $50,000 a year. Like if we think about it, of course I don't know how European and Portuguese papers work and all of that accounting bullshit. But come on, 50,000 a year for a team like Sporting, who's currently 20 million in debt to the SAD, all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Judo. Do you remember? I think I tweeted it. I can't remember her name, but everyone.
Yes, Paulo. That's the one I'm actually mentioning. Not only is it Nelson Neville, Paulo Fonseca. Is it him?
It's
Big guy?
Dara,
yeah, and also
the Ukrainian lady,
the canoeing Olympic team also cut. How much could that have possibly cost?
Yeah,
and they're all just going to sign for Braga, by the way. Go to the Olympics, represent Portugal at the Olympics, and also represent Braga.
Exactly.
And I guess we're just cool with that.
Exactly. And again, it's another thing that I heard Bruno Carvalho say. That whether you share your opinion with him or not, but I think he makes a valid point in terms of one day he was with the president of Lazio, and Lazio were celebrating that they got 3 gold medals, and it's like Bruno was like, "Bro, I just got 20. Like, what are we talking about?" It's a certain thing that it's if we're really gonna go into the terms of Sporting is more than just a football soccer club, we have to really embrace that, and the modalidades is an important part. And then of course, I don't know the financial situation at Sporting.
It just adds to the whole soccer performance or bust.
Yeah, and again, Juicebox I don't know if he was cut per se, but we just didn't renew his contract. I believe was the case.
Yeah, he didn't get brought back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant from that.
He just got.
But anyways,
yeah.
the burning question that we had people on. I think we got people on from the Twitter that I just did. Of course, Slimani just signed with Lyon for a 1.5 year deal or 1.5 year deal. Pauline was still on the table, but hypothetically, of course, guys, who would we pick, Slimani or Pauline?
1,000%.
Slimani, 32-year-old Slimani, by the way.
Fuck, he could be 33.
Pauline for Sam. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, honestly, I'm in the minority with this one. It seems like based on the results of the poll, I am Paulinho on this one.
But then you got to ask ourselves though: is it Paulinho at the cost that's been thrown around? Is it Paulinho at X amount of money plus 50% of passes from other players?
That's the only problem. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Or is it Paulinho for 15 million euros, and we keep Sporad and we keep 50% of the pass of all these other players, and our team improves, we just lose money? Or is it like, here's few players and their financial futures, blah, 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 for this punk ass Paulinho? Like, no, in my opinion.
Paulinho, as that comment says from Paul, like, the way he was under Amorim is, I know he wasn't quite up to Slimani standard that we remember, but I think we have to remember nostalgia is not the greatest thing. Like Chris mentioned it earlier, we've been hard on João Mario, and we said the same thing, that it was a nostalgic deal, but he's a great player. Not remembered the same way, but still nostalgia is a Laurie, for example. But I think right now it's what's the money, 32, right? You said
32, yeah.
Guys, maybe I'm a little older than you in this regard, but like Acosta helped us win and end the drought of 18 years, and Acosta was much older than 32. If I'm not mistaken, he's like 33, 34 coming into Sporting.
Mario Jardel. He
wasn't that old.
Porto, Benfica, and Sporting. I believe he was in his 30s.
He didn't play for Benfica. No? Jardel did. No, Jardel.
Yeah, he did. He was loaned. He was loaned for a season. He did shit at Benfica. Mario Jardel played. Yes.
What year though? Because Jardel went Porto to Galatasaray, and then Galatasaray Sporting, and then to England.
Give me a sec. He was loaned to Benfica.
He finished off his year at Beira-Mar. But Acosta came in, and he was old, and no one expected much of Acosta. We just knew that he was a ferocious, leaves everything on the table kind of player, like Slimani.
Oh, my bad.
And he did what he needed to do. Like, are we talking like also, do we need – again, we got to focus, in my opinion, I'm focusing as like the money we spent on Ruben Amorim, where we are in first place. Are we trying to go all in for a title? Now that we're in first place, 4 points up, potentially 6 or 7 if we win against Rio, to our more direct rivals, do we go all in? Or do we continue to play this bullshit where we like just sit there in the middle? We kind of see how far we keep going. Do we not spend money? And then we risk not winning it all. I mean, of course, we could spend the money and still not win it all, but at least to the fans and to the supporters that spend money that keep Sporting afloat at the end of the day, it's the fans, whether we're not in the stadium or not, it's the socios. Is that the message we want to continue to give out? Is that with Varandas, we're just going to keep hoping that all the fucking dominoes fall in the right place? That's what freaks me out and scares me about this, man. We spent all this money on Ruben Amorim. We're cutting costs in other places. We're cutting costs in the modalidades. We're turning into a club that's very much focused on soccer and soccer only. And then we're making these deals that don't necessarily show a full investment 100% into the the future of Sporting, soccer, the A team. You know what I mean? And Paulinho ain't shit compared to what Slimani did in the past at Slimani's best. Like, take Paulinho's best and Slimani's best, and I'll still take Slimani. And we know Slimani knows the club. We know Slimani loved the club. We know Slimani not only scored goals, but Slimani was a hard worker. Paulinho is he's had some moments. He's fun and he's attractive because Braga's the new, like, oh, look, Braga does well and shit. And he played for Ruben Amorim. And then the fact that Salvador has absolutely shafted us in deals, coaches and players and so forth, the fact that we're still stuck on the Paulinho thing, in my opinion, is frustrating because we don't even have Paulinho yet. So if at least we had him and it was done deal, we could be like, all right, let's move on and let's go for it.
But it's like, do you think as well, I'm not trying to make this a Bruno versus Varandas debate, but it's like, would Varandas want to bring back one of Bruno de Carvalho's most iconic signings? Is that why Slimani
I don't think he does.
He brought back João Mario. I know João Mario wasn't a signing, but he was one of his. I think João Mario, he was Bruno Carvalho's best sale, really, and up until Bruno Fernandes, he was Sporting's top sale.
I think a little bit is that
in, but I don't. It's not like João Mario was from the
academy.
I agree. I think
you
could say it, but I think I'm not going to say it is that. But I agree with you, Nando, and I respect your opinion and everything. You've made excellent points, but for me right now, I think just because of what he did under Amorim in that season that they were together, right now I'll have Paulinho. But like I said, Slimani.
I agree with you, all three of you guys, from the perspective of I'm okay with Paulinho because we need a striker, right? Mm-hmm. The question is Paulinho versus Slimani. I'll take Slimani for his historic performances at Sporting, what he's done in the past. I guess I understand we can't live in the past per se, but if he's good enough for Lyon, he's good enough for Sporting. Yeah. And that's at the end of the day. However, I'll take Paulinho if it's just a straight up, we give you X amount of money, you give us Paulinho. I'll take that 100% every day. I won't take personally, we give you money, players, loans, future percentages of passes for Paulinho. I'm not giving you all of the bank for Paulinho. I'm giving you just either money. I'm not giving you all of our future and money for Paulinho. I can't give that. Money, I would be okay with Sporting being like, okay, we went out, we spent our 12 million, 13 million, and then we can debate if it's too much. But at least that's one amount of money and we're done with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna make this a two-way tie because I actually voted for on the poll. I voted for Slimani. I'll tell you, I think Slimani, like you mentioned, Nando, he knows the league, and we know what we'll get from Slimani. The biggest thing I have towards Slimani is we have no idea what he'll offer us now because he's not playing now. In terms of Paulinho, we know what he'll offer us. Like Paulinho's scoring goals. Paulinho's, he's Braga's main guy. Like. He's official. Like I think right now he's pretty much not a shoe-in, or I guess a shoe-in for the Seleção for the next World Cup this summer, for the next Euro this summer. Mentions of Bas Dost. I mean, Bas Dost just scored a goal for Bruges after being subbed on too. I also understand we shouldn't live in the past, and I agree with you, Nando. Mainly because of the deal. Because if we're giving up Mateus Nunes and Borja and Mateus Nunes, okay, Borja might not explode or anything, but I think Borja is a pretty serviceable left back. I was more annoyed with Antunes coming because of how good I think Borja is, more than anything. But with that being said, whatever.
Mateus coming from a Rio Ave as well. If we have to give up a left back, we've got another one coming in, and I get it. But if we're giving up, say, what the room was like Ilori, Camacho, if we're giving up players who don't play and don't have a future, then I have no problem. But like you said, if it includes like Mateus Nunes or like a Bragança or someone like that, then I have issues with it.
The question then becomes, do we trust that Varandas is smarter than Antonio Salvador at this point?
No.
Do you think Antonio Salvador sits there and goes, oh yeah, I'll take your bum-ass Thiago Lori that won't even go to MLS, like, I'll take, these players that barely get any minutes. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust Varandas to pull off a deal that brings us Paulinho for some players that are, less utilized and cash considerations. I don't trust Varandas to do that. I trust Varandas to be like, here's 15 million and players that you want.
And then on top of that, it's like, how much are we going to owe Braga over the next how many years? We already owe them, 14, 15, 60 million for Amorim. How much are we going to pay for Paulinho? You're telling us we're going to give Braga, who, whether we want to admit it or not, is a direct rival to us at this point in time.
Braga's going to start being part owner of the South, bro.
If they're not already.
It's not going to be old Dimo. It's going to be Braga too. And Antonio Salvador, he knows what he's doing.
That's a fact. And that's the biggest problem, is that we're sort of funding our not our biggest, but our next rival, the one that we might be sleeping on. And that's scary, because Braga, if we continue towards our trajectory, okay, we've had a great season so far this season. Do I think we're in the title race? I think we're in the title race. But if it fails, next year we owe how much to Braga? We've given Braga, potentially some decent players. If Paulinho ends up turning into a bust, because he still has the potential to do so, whether he's playing for, whether Braga's good or not, he's not playing for a Sporting, Porto, or Benfica yet. We don't know if he can cope with that pressure yet or not, because I've seen many players make that jump and just not live up to it. We'll see. We don't know.
The transfer market ends what? End of month, right?
End of month, yeah.
And when do we finish the first round? It's
the last game is against, I just searched it up yesterday or the day before. I think it was Maritimo.
Yeah.
So it's Benfica's the penultima, and then it's Maritimo, and then it's February something. Give me a sec.
So chances are we will be playing. Let's see. Okay, so on the 31st we play Benfica.
February 3rd.
So February 3rd, So on the 31st we play Benfica. So it's safe to assume that we can very much know, and I think we'd all agree that by the 31st of this month, we either have to accept that we're either all in or not in the title race, and where we'll stand on that line in terms of a Champions League approach. Because if we go into that game against Benfica and we come out of that game against Benfica, which I think is Alvalade, but fans are not a factor at this point, and we're still ahead, first place, 4.6, whatever it is, we have to go for it, right? I think we have to go for it. One more, half a season ago. But if we come out of that and we're not doing that, and we're not in a position to compete like that, or we're feeling a little shaky, I think we still have to approach the Champions League with an all for nothing, because Sporting already spent so much money on Ruben Amorim. Sporting already did all these kinds of things and made all these kinds of decisions. So we're back to the spot where we need a striker. We cannot cheapen out on that striker. We just have to be smart, and that's where I'm scared. I don't trust Varandas to be smart financially and to get us the players that we need right now.
And if we're being honest, we need – sorry, Sam, just 2 seconds. If we're being honest, we need more than just a striker. We need another center back. We need, again, another left back, which might be Matheus Reis. But yeah, and the fact that we're laying off people, it's not a pretty sight for us to be shelling out whatever it is that Braga wants for Pauline. But anyways, go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say, if Varandas is clever, then he does. You've seen the rumors of the purchase option for Yuri Medeiros for Braga. If he uses that and then uses that as a bargaining chip, then that is clever. But like Nano said, will he do it? But it's on paper. You do that. If we should have that money to use him as a bargaining chip, and if they want, say, a Yuri, and they'll probably ask for someone else, whether that will be a Camacho or a Stovsky, so on, so on. If it's not one of our young players, then good, then that is smart. But like Nando said, will he do it? Probably not. Should he do it? Yes.
Yeah. We also need a right back. That's true, Abdallah. We also do need a right back, seeing as they don't want to play Stovsky. Nothing else to add? It's 2-2. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's 2-2 between us.
Santiago Munez from the Goal films. I'll take him in front of
Hey, look at Schelotto, right? He's sitting there rumored to be going to the 3rd division in Italy or something like that. He's a right back. Like, what's up?
Yeah. He can go. It's fine. I've seen his last Brighton games. He's good. Don't worry about him. No problem. He's coming off an ACL injury. You're good, bro. Go ahead.
Take that third.
But I know what you mean though. 100, bro. Even like Cedric rotting away at fucking Arsenal's bench.
Sporting ended the 18-year drought by getting strategic players when it mattered. And I remember, so I'm 30 and I was like 8-ish, 9, and I remember my dad vividly saying stuff like Mapenza, Cesar Prats, like IU, like players that didn't cost a lot of money, that had enough potential and enough talent to come in, do what they needed to do, and help us go over the top. That's when we can step back as fans and go, Varandas, if you pull off, you, Viana, and your structure, if you guys can pull this off, I'll fucking suck your dick if need be to get us this goddamn title. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I won't talk shit. Give me my fucking title. I don't care. Just get it done. And you need to get it done. And, you know, any kind of failures in that regard just solidifies that you're useless as a president and you're useless as anything for this club in terms of us winning. We need to win. We need to win urgently. We're at, 19 years, guys? We like, it's not hard to find players out there that are hungry and that are motivated to go to Portugal and play for a top 3 club and win.
Which we have. I think Pot is an excellent transfer. Nuno Santos is an excellent transfer. Keeping Pauline, keeping Pelinha is even an excellent transfer. Like,
but these are players Amorim wanted personally. So if Amorim personally wants Paulinho and didn't want Slimani, then are we just have to trust that, or do we say, "No, I'm not sure about that one"? Because I know we all had a doubts on like Nuno Santos and players like those. But is it something we're gonna have to do? And it might be.
Exactly. And just like in the summer, whether we believe in these rumors or not, but in the summer, you know, we were heavily rumored to Slimani, and apparently Ruben Amorim said no to it. Like, you know, you're 1,000% on the money there. Just one last quick question, just before going into Modalidades. You know, of course, the news this week came out for Rodrigo Pinho. There was also very small murmurs that Sporting were interested. Going off of what Nando was saying in terms of smart transfers, should we have went for Pinho, especially if it means he comes in January?
Depends on the price tag, really. When you look
at it. The thing is if he comes in January, you have to pay, but if he comes in June, he's free.
He's free. Yeah.
Is he worth paying $2 million for 6?
Yeah.
January. For me, it's not worth it. Right in January, at least.
Yeah, I agree. We missed a bit of what you said, but at least the ending we got. I agree. I don't think it would have been worth it anyways, but I think it was a willing question nonetheless. All right, Sam, I don't know if you want to add on to that or not, but if not, let's go straight in. Oh, sorry, go.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I just was going to add on to the back of the Maritimo game, but I completely forgot. There is some similarities I see that Amorim wants to try and be like Jose Mourinho when he was at Man United. He's like banishing players from the squad until they apologise. He tried to do it with Pogba at United and apparently Ndombele at Spurs and all these players. And that's what I sort of got from the Ristovski part. I don't know what happened. There's been numerous reports that Ristovski's lazy, or he said something, or he just doesn't do with the team.
Whatever happened to Ristovski definitely happened to Eduardo Quaresma also. But Eduardo Quaresma is too good and too young to just banish him. Ristovski, they're just like, fuck it, you're banished, bro.
Yeah. But like, I just don't understand. If it's an ego thing, then Amorim needs to drop that straight away, because we need everyone to win, I don't want to say win, but like to get as far as we can. And I know we had it before with like Andre Carrillo, with Bruno de Carvalho and players like that who didn't want to sign contracts, and that one you can sort of understand because you don't want to like raise his value as he leaves. But Ristovski is just, he's not good, he's not great, he's serviceable, he's better than Plata would be, but like, I mean, I just think if Amorim says at this point, I want him, De Varandas has to try and do his best to make that happen. And I think that's the only way we're going to go ahead, and that is, like you said, probably another centre back, a right back, a striker, the three main ones. But I think the striker should definitely be the priority.
Well, Sam, you nailed it right there. If we go all in on Ruben Amorim as a coach, right,
which we have
did,
so far,
then you have to give the coach that you spent a ridiculous amount of money on the players that he wants, because then at least you sink or swim with that decision and with that coach. You can't piece together players then in that regard if you're not going to go ahead and give the coach what he wants.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. All right, Chris, take us away with modalidades before we preview this upcoming not only weekend but the Monday as well.
All right. I hope that I don't freeze while I'm doing this or while I'm sharing my screen because I've been freezing. I'm just going to start off with the ones that I know for a fact. So this Saturday, futsal plays against a Danish team for round of 32 of UEFA Futsal Cup. Obviously, a competition that we've won in the past, had numerous Final Four appearances. So, fully expect to win. It's single elimination. It's at João Rocha. No excuses. And staying with futsal, I'm only going to do the ones that, like, I just kind of know. In the next week. So this is like your top line information. Futsal tied. I don't know who they tied. They tied 4-4 earlier last week, and then they won yesterday. So Benfica is now are we tied? We are tied with Benfica. I don't know who's like difference or what the tiebreaker is, but us and Benfica have now the same amount of points because we dropped our first game. Still undefeated, but 14 wins and a draw, I think, out of 15. Benfica is the same. Basketball, still undefeated, won again. I believe they're 15-0. And they played their hardest game, honestly, like in a while. It went to overtime, but they got the result. And upcoming basketball, European some point in late January. So that will be upcoming. So that's cool. Next, I'm going to go to the ladies team. So the ladies team, they split the league into a north and a south this year. And then they're doing I think like the Dutch league.
Damn, I thought he was about to come back. We'll give it a few seconds.
Is it fucking up that much? Is it fucking
No,
up
you're
that
good.
much?
No, you're good. We lost you at terms. You were talking about the North and South in the females league, and then comparing it to the Dutch league. I think we might have lost you again, though. Oh no, yeah.
The top 4 in each go to the knockout round. So the ladies are into the knockout round, and that starts next match day. So the U23 team, same situation. There's a top 3 from each division that go to the playoff round. Sporting did not make it. Benfica also did not make it.
R.I.P.
That was timing.
You're back. You're back.
Dude, this is fucking insane.
Listen.
I think it's because my roommate is watching Netflix. Like, bro, I think that this is too much.
That guy. Hey, Peaky Blinders will be on in 40 minutes, bro. Fuck off, bro.
I think that's what the problem is, because that normally doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're usually good.
Yeah.
It might be that. No worries, bro. You're forgiven.
Whatever. I'll just go rapid fire.
Yeah.
U23 is out. So is Benfica. They're still going to play games, but it's like for fucking exhibition. They're not in the playoffs. The B team won again. They're in second, I believe, in the group G of the Campeonato Portugal, the third division. So they're looking at the playoffs. And yeah, I think we'll call it there.
We'll call it there. Don't worry about it.
We caused enough damage.
I just want to say one thing quickly. Bro, it's such a shame. This basketball team has gone undefeated, and fucking Varanda stripped us of that fucking Trevante Williams or Varanda's whatever. Sporting. We'll say Sporting because Varanda's probably whatever. They
Whoever
stripped us of that
guy
interview, bro. Yeah, whoever that fucking piece of
Still got
shit
his
was.
number,
bro.
I'll prank call the bitch or something.
Yo, call the guy right now, bro. Let's have him on the podcast, right? Yo, Joe Budden does that on his podcast. Who says we can't? Anyways, fuck, man. That's so disappointing. That's so sad, seeing as the basketball team is doing so well for us.
But in our defense, I think we've got a much better guest coming on the 29th of. No offense to Trevante, of course, but we have a much better episode coming than that would have been.
Facts. And not to mention Monday. I'll mention it again at the end of the podcast. You guys have to remind me because I smoke a bit of weed, so I might forget a bit. But Monday we have Tigas coming onto the pot just a little bit. Monday we have Tigas, and I drink a little bit too. I don't know if that affects it. But on Monday we have Tigas coming onto the podcast. We're gonna talk the Rio Ave game for sure. We're gonna talk about our modalidades more in depth with Tigas. That's Monday, 9 GMT time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. fucking Western. So come join us, of course, on Monday. It's going to be another good one. And yeah, of course, 29th is the big one for us. But Tigas is also a really big guest for us. So we're actually really excited to have Tigas on Monday and very soon. So yeah, look out for that. Of course, let's go into the next two games. Or I guess the next one game, since we're going into Tuesday, we'll talk more about Porto for the Taça da Liga. Yo, that's a fact, Richard. Let me just add that. You can't drink all night if you don't start early, buddy. It's 4 p.m. somewhere in the world. Our next game against Rio Ave at home. Of course, coming off this 2-0 loss, there might be some skepticism. Let me see Rio Ave's form. They're currently sitting in 9th in the table, 14 points, tied with Maritimo, 1 point off Santa Clara in 7th, 6 points off Guimarães that are in 5th. They actually lost yesterday 2-1 in the Taça Portugal, just like us. 2-0, of course, for us, but 2-1 against Estoril from the 2nd division. So a bit worse of a loss if you think about it. But in terms of the league, and they also did rotate their team. In terms of the league, they won 3-0 against Portimonense. They lost 2-0 against Paço Ferreira, who's having an incredible season. They did lose also 3-1 to Maritimo, 3-0 to Rio Ave, and of course, from the Portimonense game, their last win was in December 12th against Famalicão in the Taça Portugal, 2-1. So Rio Ave, normally a tough team in Portugal. I think outside of the big 3, big 4, they're like that 5 and 6 spot, 6, 7 spot in terms of like the toughest teams we have to face. Of course, there might be a grudge match. We did sell them Gerald and Dalla for Nuno Santos, so it's going to be an interesting matchup in terms of that. Yeah, what are we saying? What are predictions, thoughts? What do we think about Rio Ave? Whoever wants to take it first.
This is a game home or away?
Home. Not that it matters, though.
Yeah, not that it matters. It's just those away stadiums for the islands and shit add up.
Yeah.
I think we'll win if we focus on keeping the team that's been winning, quit the bullshit subs and moves around other than the players that can't play for obvious reasons. And I think this game is going to be even more telling than any other games that we've had before then, because now we've got Clásico coming up. Great opportunity. Go 7-up on those guys and force them to decide who wants it more,
Yeah.
I think we'll win. I think it'll be a scrappy game, though. I'd say Sporting 1-0 or something like that.
I'm looking at the recent form as well, and I have to say their last win, apart from that Portimonense game, came in matchday 6 on the 31st of October in the league, and that was a 2-0 win against Moreirense. But there's no reason why we shouldn't win this game, even if we don't have the Sporar or we don't have the Nuno Mendes. I know it's going to be a bit more difficult, but I'm looking at their recent form, like you said, 3-0 loss to Braga, 3-1 loss to Maritimo, 2-0 loss to Paço Ferreira, and then we've got stronger teams than pretty much all of those combined. Maybe Braga is one you could say questionable, but I think it should be an easy game for us. I knock on wood. I know we've had problems in the past with them, but I'm going to go with a 3-0 win.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a sofrido game for sure because it's high stakes. Rio Ave, it's not the Rio Ave of normal years. I feel like they're definitely worse this year, or at least more inconsistent. They definitely have the threat of being able to play, at their normal level or the normal Rio Ave level. So yeah, I think we're gonna win 2-1. It's gonna be super sketchy. It's gonna suck, to be honest, because we know what's at stake in the game on Saturday or Sunday. I don't even know which one it is, what day it is, to be honest. So yeah, we're gonna go. Oh, it's Friday too. No, I'm talking the other game.
Friday. Yeah,
both
Friday,
games are Friday,
right after us. Yeah.
Okay, so regardless, we're gonna go first, and we're not even gonna watch the game after if we don't win. To be honest. So yeah, let's get the win and then kick back, relax, and feel good about the other result no matter what happens.
Facts. Yeah, I'm gonna agree and just repeat the same thing that Jordan just said. Fadal is out from a yellow card. Netu now is out because of COVID. It's definitely going to be a rotated back line. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Borja and Inacio in.
No,
I would love to see Quaresma. I'm with you. I would love to see Quaresma. I'm just saying what I think I'm going to see. I think I'm going to see Borja Quach, and Inacio in there. And then, of course, no Nuno Mendes, so Borja might play left back and Toons might play left back. But I haven't even seen Antunes on the bench, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
he hasn't even made the bench the last few weeks. Yeah, so I'm stressed. I don't know what to make of this game. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Don't know the cases that are gonna happen between now and then, which is obviously like at least 3 more. It feels like, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like for sure. This guy said, "I hope Elordi plays." Jordan, you're on crack, bro. What do you mean?
He's probably better than Borja, to be fair. At least that's his actual position.
I don't mind Borja playing center back in a back 3, though. He's done all right.
I remember last year, or was it the year before, against Benfica, he had a pretty serviceable game, and then he scored an own goal or something.
Yeah,
he can do it. He can do it, but it's
wasn't that the game? Wasn't that the game we lost 4-2?
That is irrelevant, Danny.
We lost 4-2. What are you talking about?
Nah, I might have been the game.
Didn't we go through? We went through in that tie eventually.
Oh, that's the 1-0 in the Taça Portugal. You're right. It was the 1-0.
Maybe it wasn't 1-0.
Where Bruno scored that beautiful. He faked the shot.
I remember Elordi scored an own goal, I think, or like assisted their goal, something like that.
I think we lost 2-1 and then we won 1-0 in the return leg.
Yeah, it was 2-1. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna be more pessimistic. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw, just because that back line is scaring me, man. Netu not there. Say what you want about Netu, but Netu's been like pretty dominant for us, pretty important for us. He captained the last game. It's only fitting that Netu captains the game we lose, right? But he did captain the last game. He does seem to be a big presence in the locker room. Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1, bro. And to make matters worse, I'm gonna say Gelson Dalla. We're gonna be winning 1-0, and Gelson Dalla in the 80th something minutes gonna score a goal against us.
I swear to God, if we don't win this game and it's something like if we don't win, I'm gonna cry. But if we lose points on some bullshit like that, I'm just gonna fucking hibernate.
Yeah, that's
like you guys. Next time you'll see me, my fucking fro and my beard is gonna be just in fucking tangles, literally like dreads and shit.
A fucking bird's nest is gonna be in there, bro. That's a fact. And tá bem. And tá bem. Sorry, guys. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Of course, Nuno Santos is going back to his old club, so maybe he can get the game for us. We'll see. But honestly, more fitting because it's the most Sporting thing to happen is Nuno Santos is going to get another yellow and miss the. If he misses the Boavista game, I guess it's not that bad.
Well, you do know that Sporting
getting a yellow card coming.
At least it seems like we always tend to lose points after one of the bigs have lost points. Well, now we play before the bigs,
which is big.
Which is big,
guys. And let me ask you about that. What are we saying about Porto and Benfica?
Red cards all over the place and a tie.
I think Porto have got the upper edge, but personally, I think if maybe Benfica edged them out. Obviously, like I don't want either team to win ever, but I think at the moment Porto have been in such good form that Taremi is. I said I wanted at Sporting a few months ago, obviously before he signed, but he's been on fire.
So
Luis
you
Diaz.
want Porto to win, or you want?
I'd say maybe Benfica, just because it puts more pressure on Porto to perform in other games. Whereas if they win, Porto look unstoppable and they ride on that momentum until.
But a tie to go 6 points clear of both.
Yeah. Let me tell you, yesterday I was talking to my dad and I said, I want Benfica to win because but this is a big if.
Benfica has more ref influence, though, if it comes down to the wire at the end.
Yes. But if we beat Benfica in a few weeks' time, we're 7 points of both if Benfica happens to beat Porto. But then the problem is, if Benfica beats Porto, I really don't see us beating Benfica because they'll have the fucking confidence in the world.
But but if they tie, we're 2 games up on both.
Yeah.
6 and 6. Lose to Benfica doesn't matter. We're still 3 up. And we're assuming we take care of Boavista and such, we're still 3 up on Porto. If Porto then comes back and wins and takes points away, we're at 3 up on Porto, 3 up on Benfica, even after a loss against Benfica.
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's if we beat the smaller teams that we.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in the situation like that, we just got to take the clear math on that, man. Just go 6 points up on both, force them to be 2 games back, and make them both stress a little.
I think the form Porto are in.
I think
Porto will win, but I would love a tie.
Oh, you think Porto's going to win?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I think Porto winning is, truthfully, I think Benfica has a better team, and they're not playing. They haven't played. They haven't hit even like 75% of their potential.
Agreed.
But they have that wild card of fucking outside influence, and I don't know how many points that can make up. I don't know if it can make up 7, and then if we beat them 10, I don't know if you need a shit ton of outside influence to make up 10 points.
But we've lost the league 7 points up to Benfica.
I know. The 7 is the exact number.
You know what I'm saying? Like we know what it's like to get excited and then see those points dwindle down. I think that Conceição matches up well against Jorge Jesus. That's why I think I'm leaning Porto. It is at Porto, right? I think
it is at Porto. Yeah.
Okay, again, no fans, but I think Conceição matches better against Jorge Jesus. I think Porto and that aggressive Conceição mentality, just win at all costs. You know, they're going to bark at the ref. They're going to do the things they're going to do that we've known them to do. That's why I'm thinking Porto's going to win. That Emi is in good form. I think Benfica is going to be desperate, in my opinion. I think we're going to see a Benfica that needs to start making moves to approach that game against Sporting, not too many far points back. But I would love a tie. I would love a tie with them absolutely just murdering each other on the pitch, like hard fouls, red cards, pushes, bullshit in the hallways before games, after games, half times, 6 month suspensions. I want the whole fucking shit, bro. Like absolutely a just complete disgrace on both sides.
The suspensions will only come months later, as we've seen with Otavio.
Bro, I don't want anybody watching this game from a different league or from outside and think they're going to get a great performance.
I agree.
It's going to be hideous. Yeah, these games are never good. The Clásicos are never good.
I want the pitch to be as bad as the Nacional game that we just had. That'd be amazing.
You're right. Pushing the game back and back and back and just keep fucking making them tired.
I'm going to predict I would love a tie like you. Nando, I think you actually brought me to the edge because at first I was thinking maybe one of them winning might be better because then we'll at least be clear of one. But I think a tie, you're right. 6 points of both.
That's 2
Keep
games.
them at bay. It's better. I'm going to say I hope for a tie. I'm going to be honest. I think Benfica steal this one because they're going to get vengeance from what happened in Aveiro a few weeks ago with Porto winning the Super Cup. But, I mean, I see this going either way. The only sad thing is both of them can't lose. Like that'd be.
God, you know how clutch it would be if we're 6 up on them, we pull the shit together, we beat Benfica and go 9 up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And still stick to 6 up on Porto going into the start of the end of the year. Oh,
and still find a way to fucking choke 9 points.
I know, it's gonna
guys,
be
and I've already
crazy.
looked up flights to Portugal, bro. Like May 16th
You're
through the
setting
28th.
up for the craziest.
We're all
like,
going to Portugal.
collapse of all time.
Sam, Danny, Christian, we're
Nando,
all going to Portugal.
I hope you know at work, I've only been mentioning if COVID gets better in May, I'm not working. I'm
I don't
in
give a fuck
Portugal
if COVID's
fucking getting
working.
drunk, bro.
I
Yeah,
honestly could give a shit if COVID. Like,
COVID.
Portugal could literally tell me that they're on a straight up like isolation mentality. And I'm buying a ticket to
Facts.
Portugal.
And we'll be the only ones celebrating at Marquês
I'll literally just be like, well, I guess this was life. You know, I lived till about 30, 31 and end up with Sporting being the champion.
Yeah,
Like, I'll take it.
agree with that one.
That's a fact. I have enough vacation and sick days that I can do the 2
Same,
week quarantine.
dude. I haven't used a single fucking hour since October of last year.
Bro, same.
Then
Just
again,
wanna
if we
add-
don't win the title, I'm literally taking 10 days off and just trying to recover.
It's a regular Monday for me at this point.
I just want to add quickly. For people who watched the podcast a few weeks ago, Con Murphy is. I'm not sure which one he's commentating because both Sporting and Rio Ave and Porto versus Benfica are live on Free Sports in the UK after each other. I would assume he probably gets the Porto Benfica game, but yeah, if you're in the UK, they're free to watch. Free Sports, Sporting Rio Ave 6:30, Porto Benfica 9 p.m.
On Friday?
Yeah.
Is Porto game as well?
Yeah.
Both are on Friday.
Fuck, I gotta be at work.
I know, same, bro. What? And yeah, 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
For
Sorry,
Fubo TV. I don't know if you guys in the States, like Chris, if you're aware of it or whatever.
I used to have it. The
when
only
it had
thing
the Portuguese.
the thing that's
Yeah.
good is you can record things on there.
They got so the Portuguese league, I just found out, is now under Goal TV Spanish.
It's been for like I think it's the third year that they've
Fucking
been on.
so I'm spending like $94 a month now just to finish off this campeonato.
You can get a smaller plan that's only
And then throw in that Spanish
the Latino package, I think it's called, and it includes the Goal TV.
I'm tired of trying to stream on some bullshit website that's gonna pop up 19 pages of porn.
The Goal TV English commentators are the worst commentators I've ever heard. Like, watch it on Spanish Goal TV because
I watch it on Spanish too, but
you will cut yourself after listening to that guy for fucking 5 minutes.
Those guys are like, you can tell they're sitting at home in the living room. We're using Wi-Fi to like comment on that game.
I don't have either, but I'm saying at least the clips I've seen on Twitter, the Spanish one isn't afraid to admit like the Portuguese league is a fucking corrupt league.
Dude,
Bro. Every time he's like, "How the fuck is that a penalty?"
Not just that. Like, I love when like there's just shitty play and they're like, "Well, that's an embarrassing pass right there." Like,
yeah,
it's just like clear like trash talking on like bad plays and bad performances.
And then the English commentator is this like drunk Latino dude who like doesn't even make any sense or like seemingly he's just like the bootleg version of that. Like, yeah, it's the Spanish Goal TV might be like a low key great broadcast for the Portuguese league.
Facts. All right, that's the podcast. I think you guys did the predictions, right? I think everybody here did it.
You've got to mention the guest we have because you told me to.
Yes, Monday, Tigas. Guys, join us. Tigas will be on. That it's 9 p.m. GMT time, so UK and Portugal time. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the North Americas. 1 p.m. Pacific. You guys know the drill. But Tigas will be on. It'll be a really good podcast. We'll be talking modalidades as well as the Rio Ave game and preview to the Porto game. And yeah, of course, we have a weekend of modalidades, so that's going to be exciting and fun to be on.
European competitions are starting up for the handball, or continuing for the handball, the futsal, and the basketball soon. So,
facts. So we'll be talking about a lot with Tigas. So yeah, guys, please join us on Monday. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for joining us on this one. We really do appreciate it, and fuck with you guys hard. Special shout out to my guy, Juicebox Leal, Richard Neves, Abdallah Murti, all the way from Jordan. Shout out to you, bro. Saik, Jordan Bentoncourt from my backyard, from the Ontario, from T.O. Marco Couto. Who else did we have here? Paul Pont, all the way from the West Coast. We had José Costa Jorge from Down Under. Carlos Ferreira, shout out to you, bro. Marco, Fabio, shout out to you guys. Who else am I missing here? Kevin Ribeiro, Vic Lyon, who actually lives down the street from me, bro. Shout out to Symington and DuPont. The hood. Please follow us on YouTube at Sporting160EN, on Twitter, Sporting160_EN, Facebook and Instagram, Sporting160EN. Another great one, guys. Thanks for joining, as always. And yeah, let's hope for 3 points this Friday, and 6 points clear. Let's hope. Viva Sporting, and yeah, Viva Sporting.